There's a lot that we don't talk about, sometimes due to embarrassment, fear, insecurities. We neglect discussions about the most common parts of our lives, things we all deal with, sometimes every day. But on the Caffeinated Gypsy podcast, together, we'll break all of those taboos and talk open and honest about shared experiences. Knowledgeable people relating things you felt but never put into words. Parenting, sex, fitness, energy, anything to connect you to your authentic self, unfiltered. Now, the Caffeinated Gypsy herself, a free spirit, world traveler with a passion for fitness and exploring topics that others might avoid. Welcome to the Caffeinated Gypsy podcast. I'm Stephanie Cotton, your host. All right, so today on the podcast, I'm going to be going through the first section in my book, Light It Up. I have a lot of people right now out there who have purchased my book and are going through this workbook, working on their chakras for the next 28 weeks. So to facilitate this journey with everybody, I wanted to do this with you. So what are chakras? So the actual meaning of the word chakra means turning wheel. And that's exactly what the chakras are. They're these turning wheels of energy or light inside of our body. So the idea of chakras dates back to ancient times. It has roots in yoga and tantric theory. And there's a lot of different beliefs or theories as to how many chakras we have in our body. But for the purpose of my journal and what we're going to be doing, we're going to go off of the 7 main chakras. So these 7 main chakras hold our energy. And as energy moves, it's moving through each of these chakras. So in Ayurvedic medicine, you'll know this as prana. In Chinese medicine, you may hear this as ki or chi. But really, what you need to know is that this is our energy. This is our vital force that's running through us. And when we have deficiencies in these energy centers, this is when we start to have health problems, emotional problems with their spirituality. So it's really important for all levels of our being that these energy centers stay healthy and that they're full and vital and that we're constantly working to keep them open and clear. So when we're thinking about moving all of this energy through, we're thinking about transforming who we are. We're working towards reaching our best version of ourselves. What happens though through life is that we get stuck, and the chakras, as we'll discuss, they affect different parts of our body. The developmental phases are happening during those pivotal first 6 years of life when we're developing as a human being. And so any type of trauma or disruption in this developmental period will cause us to have patterns, energetic patterns that we carry over into adulthood. And so one of the things that's always really fascinated me about chakras is the correlation it has to the developmental stages in psychology. And so we'll get into that a little bit when we look at the root chakra and the sacral chakra. But if you can look at those early stages of development, Erik Erikson actually speaks about this and how any kind of trauma or disruption in the ability to properly grow and form and develop really causes patterns for the rest of our life. And we can definitely see this in the chakras as well. So what we have to do a lot of times as adult is go back and fix those issues or try to change our energy patterns. And that's what we're going to be doing with this book is we're going to be diving into those early years where these things were forming and looking to see where we have blockages and how we correct those blockages, because each of the chakras is going to correspond to not just a different body area, but it's also corresponding to major nerve centers, organs, hormones, psychological processes, our emotions, and our spiritual state. So having a blockage in any of those chakras is going to affect lots of different facets of who we are. So while a lot of people look at this as maybe just some sort of new agey woo-woo, there's actually a lot of scientific evidence now that these energy centers do affect these different processes in our body. So what I see a lot of with people that I work with, I primarily end up working with people that have trauma, and trauma ends up causing a lot of different physical manifestations in the body. So by working with people in a process called somatic experiencing, where you're actually trying to get in touch with your body and become cognizant of what's going on, I'm able to help people tap into that trauma and see where they have these blockages in the chakra system. So that's what we're going to be doing on a very mild level through this book, is tapping in to these chakras and just trying to dig down and see, like, where do we have blockages, and then not really dwelling on those blockages, but how do we open these blockages up, or how do we start to begin this healing process so that we can really become our best version of ourselves and we can move past some of these blockages that we've seen in life. So the way this journal is going to work is that we're going to work from the root chakra up to the crown chakra. So the chakras work on top of each other. You know, your root is exactly like it sounds. It's like the root of a tree. And so in order to properly open the other chakras and to really get the most benefit, you need to have very strong roots. So we're going to work with the root chakra for 4 weeks. So each week there's going to be a new journal activity. So these activities are going to be in 2 parts. You're going to have an actual journal activity, so it'll be something you write about. And then you're also going to have some form of physical activity, because we want to connect our physical and spiritual body. So it may be something like you're going to go for a walk and we're going to focus on bringing energy up. Or it may be something like we're going to do some squats today. As you move into what we call more of the spiritual chakras, the upper chakras, you may do something like paint a picture or do something with your hands. So we're going to be doing writing, and we're also going to be actually putting these activities into action so that we can really facilitate the most benefit through this process. So if you'd like to join us in this journey, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. The first is if you want to purchase the book, they're on my website. If you want to purchase a digital copy, that's another option. The digital copy is $12, so it's a little bit cheaper than the book, and you can go through this with us. If you don't want to purchase the book, but you just want to listen and write the activities down, that works too. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about this with us. My goal is just to try to help everybody through this process. The book that I created was based off of my own healing journey and working with clients for the past 14 years. And, you know, my whole motive in life is to help people heal. And as I've spoke on before, I know what it's like to be constantly searching for somebody to help you through these journeys. I know what it's like to maybe not have a lot of income to facilitate healing. So I always try to give everybody as many options as I can to help facilitate healing, and hopefully, you know, you can continue your healing journey and you're not being held back by things like finances and things like that. And yeah, that's my whole motive in all of this, is just to give you guys information and give you another tool. And if it resonates with you, that's awesome. If you're in this journey and you have questions, feel free to reach out. It's definitely something that if you have a question or something that's come up, it may be something that somebody else has experienced and something we can even bring up on the podcast if you're interested. So I'm excited to do this with you guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to be doing the next episode on the root chakra. So in the next podcast, I'm going to do probably in the next couple days, it'll be on the root chakra and the very first journal assignment. And then from then on, we'll do one a week and you can follow along. All right, y'all, have a great day and thanks for listening.